The Legend of Zelda is a storied series long revered for its imaginative artistry and one-of-a-kind design. Unmatched in its ability to maintain a high level of quality across decades of milestone releases, the franchise continues to defy expectations to this day. Embracing bold artistic choices has proved successful for the series, delivering powerful creative visions that capture the attention of new and old game players alike. And in celebration of those many looks and legends of Zelda, let's take a look at my top 5 favorite Zelda art styles. Released in 2006, Twilight Princess is an interesting midpoint in the 3D Zelda era. Beautiful in its own right, this title takes on a more traditional dark fantasy approach in its design, answering a call of sorts from fans of Ocarina of Time to continue on with a more matured approach. Detail is dialed up in this generation as monsters look especially menacing, while Link and his fellow Hylians sport a more soft and elvish look. Hyrule itself here is bathed in a nice delicate bloom, which adds a dreamlike quality to the presentation, further enriching the fantasy atmosphere. Colors are slightly muted yet still pronounced where needed. It's an interesting mix of a more stark yet still vivid take on a Zelda title, striking in its approach to dark magic while maintaining the lighter essence of what makes the series' simpler way of life so appealing. Twilight Princess finds a nice balance between high fantasy and surreal naturalism. I especially love how ornately weird some of the design can get. At times, it can almost look gothic or medieval with a darker bite than you might expect. All in all though, a phenomenal Zelda presentation from top to bottom, and a very unique moment in the history of the series. Going back to 1991, A Link to the Past would take the original top-down Legend of Zelda to a whole new level. Revered as the pinnacle of early action RPG aesthetics, the impact of this SNES entry can't be understated. As prime pixel art from the 16-bit era tends to do, this game's style has aged incredibly well, a masterclass in 2D artistry whose influence can still be felt across the medium. This title delivers on all fronts the best aspects of the generation. With a strong focus on vibrant primary colors and distinctly pleasing Super NES tones, Link to the Past manages a creative vision that feels ageless. From its world map to distinct character and area design, every refresh feels like a piece of frameable retro game art. A well-woven tapestry evolved from the original 8-bit release, Hyrule's colorful charm really found its footing here. Blazing a trail in 1998, our first 3D entry, Ocarina of Time, blessed CRT screens the world over. The sheer magnitude of what was accomplished here is astonishing. Art direction is superb, really bringing to life what would become an overarching design philosophy for the series going forward. This title for me also offers one of the most cinematic Zelda adventures to date. With its deep earth tones and rich environments, Ocarina of Time looks like a storybook shot on film, especially when viewed on era-appropriate displays. As fairies fill the air in Kokiri Forest, or you watch the sun set across Hyrule Field, it's easy to get lost amidst the wonder and purity of Ocarina's design. You can almost feel the winding tendrils twisting up trees, or the heat rising from the depths of Death Mountain. With a world so well fleshed out, its immersive nature gets me time and time again. I even love the pre-rendered backgrounds in certain areas, as I think they play nicely into the storybook atmosphere set throughout. It should be noted the 3DS version offers an updated take on Ocarina's artistry, which is a must-play as well. A bountiful masterpiece of untethered imagination, Ocarina of Time remains an absolute triumph today. "2017's Breath of the Wild will easily be a lot of people's #1 entry, and for very good reason. With its lush presentation and stunning use of color, this game's vision and execution for all intents and purposes is perfection. As the time of day and fluctuating weather imbue Hyrule with a sense of living, breathing atmosphere, the sense of natural majesty its artistry conveys is really something to behold. From its ruined structures to warm villages, the land tells a story everywhere you turn. Its mix of cell shading and modernist design feels like the truest translation to date of Zelda's original concepts, and is a celebration of all that came before it. Breath of the Wild, even just while standing still, manages to look like poetry in motion. A modern marvel of inspired design, this game is proof that a series decades old can still feel completely brand new again. 2003 would see the boldest reimagining of Zelda's iconic art style to date with the release of Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. And for me, this one absolutely won me over. Controversial then as longtime fans expected a direct follow-up from Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker really showed that in the eyes of Nintendo, Zelda wasn't just for one generation, but for every new generation as well. A stunning showcase for cel shading, this game was the first time I remember seeing the technique in action, and I feel like this still looks like something that could come out today. For fans that grew up in awe of FMV titles like Dragon's Lair, this game finally delivered on a long-time desire to see in-game graphics reach animation authenticity. Beautiful and bold in motion, with colors more in line with Link to the Past, Wind Waker paints a captivating world of swords and sorcery, as told upon the high seas. The way items explode from colored orbs or enemies erupt into plumes of dark fog always delights. Especially when viewed on a CRT in its original form, the animation style really sells, as this was the target means of display for the time. Not to say the modern HD release doesn't look incredible as well, but it does take on a more CGI animated style, which still absolutely works in its own right. Wind Waker wins my #1 spot simply because it puts a big dumb smile on my face every time I load it up. The retroactively named Toon Link shows so much character in every frame, and the game really captures the feel of an animated classic. It also inspired my love for pretty much all things cel-shaded, and just bowls me over with its unique look every time I set sail on a new adventure.